You know, every once in a while, we have a parent that will contact us about their teenagers and sexuality, and now even preteens and sexuality, and it's really disturbing when they're on the phone and they're just crying and hurting, and they don't know what to do because they found their teenager in bed with someone, or they heard through a next door neighbor that there was sexual activity going on, and they don't really know how to even approach it. They don't even know where to begin. You know, David, where do I start? How do I even talk about it? And, you know, there's a lot of people that are filled with shame and guilt when it comes to talking to kids about sexuality. Why is that? Well, because they had the same thing put on them. And even though we may be 30, 40, or 50 years old right now and think that we're not like our parents, in many, many ways we are. I remember one of the most amazing interviews I ever did, and I wish I could remember the woman's name, but it was stunning. It was around 1993. And this woman came on my national radio show to talk about helping to prevent teenage pregnancy. And when I tell you what her big message was, you'll either shake your head and go, oh my God, that's incredibly intelligent, or you'll say, oh my God, that's terrible. But either way, I happen to back her. And one of the reasons I'm doing this video today, as I mentioned, is because of a recent conversation with a mom that didn't know how to talk about sexuality with her daughter, didn't know how to talk about sexuality with her son. Her husband would have nothing to do with it. He said because of moral, ethical, and religious reasons, he didn't think it was his place in society to teach his kids about sex. Sometimes I just shake my head. Going back to the person that I interviewed, though, her big message and big push was we need to teach our teenage girls, and I'm going to say guys too, about sexuality and self-pleasure, because too many girls, and I'm going to add boys, believe that sexuality and sexual pleasure can only come when you're with someone else. In other words, when a boy is inside of a girl is when she feels the most elation, which all of us can say as adults is absolutely true, but it's outrageously risky for teenagers for many, many reasons. Teenage pregnancy and the passing along of STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. So in her philosophy, which I unbelievably endorse and think it's incredible, that when you teach young girls and boys about self-pleasure and about the fact that they can receive this unbelievably gratifying, one of the most outrageous, incredible feelings in this world, coming from emotional and sexual involvement, even just with themselves, which sounds oxymoronic, but it's not at all, that they can then see that they hold the power. Isn't that incredible? That this young girl that thinks that she can only feel this way when she's with a young boy can actually find out that she can create the same sensations in her body, hence decreasing the chance of teenage pregnancy and the passing of STDs. I thought the woman was brilliant. I wish I could remember her name. Now, when I work with parents, I bring the same message to them. That, you know, if we're going to teach our boys and girls that it's shameful to talk about sexuality and you should feel guilty to discuss sexuality and their own sexual needs, then what are we really teaching them? Do you know that the number one cause in our experience when I work with sex addicts, the number one cause of sexual addiction in our adult years is due to shame and guilt around sexuality when we're being raised by our parents? Isn't that amazing? I mean, I can tell you 99% of the sex addicts that I've worked with, and sex addicts can be your doctor, your attorney, your next door neighbor. Remember when David Duchovny from the X-Files came out years ago talking about his sex addiction? I said, oh my God, like this guy is off the charts brave to talk about something like this. And now, I mean, way before then, we've been dealing with sexual addiction. But, you know, when I get to the root core of why someone is so craving that sexual addiction, whether it be via telephone sex or physical sex or an addiction to pornography or whatever it might be, we go back to the childhood and they were shamed when they wanted to talk about what's happening with their body. You know, there's all these sensation, these drives. I mean, young boys know it. You know, young girls, they're shamed to even think and talk about a sexual need or a desire in their 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years of age. Young boys have it coming out of their ears, basically. Oh my God, you know, like that. What do I do with this? And it's crucial as parents, as step-parents, to know the importance of talking about sexual pleasure, self-sexual pleasure, so that they can get an understanding from the body and what their body does, how it reacts. And also, and I'm going to say this again for teens and preteens, to decrease the chance of teenage pregnancy, to decrease the chance of spreading STDs, which is really easy to do in our teen years because we just don't know anything and we think we're immortal and we think that that couldn't happen to us. But remember this too, when a young boy or young girl is shut down regarding their sexuality, when they're told it's bad, it's naughty, it's not something you need to do until you're much, much older, we're spreading the message of shame and guilt, which what happens when we're told we can't? Well, we try to experiment even more. Many people find that with alcohol. You know, they're told don't ever. Now, there's a different way to talk about alcohol. I mean, there's a law. You can't drink till 21, son, but let's talk about it. Versus, no, you can't. You know, I don't want to hear about what Susie's doing with her boyfriend. Don't even talk to me about that. All that does is create shame and guilt. So let's open up the awareness. Let's talk about it. Let's get the education necessary. And if you need to private message me here on Facebook or email me through our website, talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. If you don't know how to talk to your kids about it, let me know. I will help you. It's so critically important. It's so amazingly important. And once I give you some education and some different ways to communicate and talk and begin the dialogue, like don't wait for your teenagers to come to you because it's already too late. You know, we need to go to them and talk to them. It doesn't matter if they're 12 years of age or 18 or 19. If they're still in the home, we got to open up that communication, okay? So let's do it. Let's drop the shame and guilt. Let's drop that authoritarian figure that we don't speak about these type of topics. Let's bring it out in the open to decrease the chances of all the things I've talked about today. And when kids feel comfortable talking about sexuality, their self-esteem and their confidence goes through the roof. Again, email me at talkdavid.com or davidessel.com or private message me here, okay? And we also offer a 15-minute initial consultation, absolutely free. And in 15 minutes, we can do some pretty cool things. Share this on your wall. If you're not afraid, if you're not ashamed to talk about sexuality, then share this on your wall so that other parents understand that there are people out there like myself, and I'm not the only one, that can really help break barriers down around sensuality, sexuality, and intimacy, okay? Decreasing teenage pregnancy rates, decreasing teenage STD rates. Thank you guys so very much for this very sensitive topic, but one we need to be more open about all the time. Have an awesome day.